Hi, okay, so we're just going to go through a quick yoga sequence for hips and hip flexors. So if you just want to start by coming to a cross-legged position, so letting the knees just release down to the floor as much as you can. You can sit or use a block to raise the hips. You can use a book if that makes it more comfortable. And then we're just going to take the right leg slightly further forward. So rather than having the feet in towards the body, we're going to have the shins parallel. So you might find that that's a bit strong. If it's strong for both legs, you can just take one leg forward and take the other leg out to the side. So just trying to keep the shins parallel and taking the knees down towards the floor. Lifting up through the crown of the head, and we're just going to walk the hands forward, reaching forward, easing the fingertips further forward. So you're trying to push the right knee in towards the floor as you bring the chest further forward. So we're releasing through the back, but bring the chest through the arms, and you should really feel that right hip begin to release and relax. So there shouldn't be any pain or discomfort, just easing through that right hip. Just holding here, each inhale lifting and exhale just releasing further forward. You might be able to inch the hands further away again. Take the shoulders away from the ears. And just let that right hip release. And then slowly walk the hands back toward the hips. So we're going to take that right leg out to the side this time. So the left foot is into the inner right thigh. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Take the right fingertips inside that right leg. Left arm rises up to the ceiling. And we're just going to take a side bend over to that right foot. So we're trying to reach out, taking the fingertips up towards the ceiling. So the shoulders are stacked. So rather than coming forward and trying to reach the foot, we're trying to take those left fingertips up towards the ceiling, releasing through the left hand side of the body. Taking that arm back. So we're going to come to a 90-90 position. So the right leg comes slightly back. So the knee and the hip are in alignment. Come side on so you can see. So the knee and hip are in alignment. The foot and the knee are in alignment. And the same with this left leg. So everything should be in a 90 degree angle. So you'll find that you're slightly off center. So just take the hands behind the hips, fingertips facing forward, bend through the elbows, lift up through the chest as you squeeze that right glute and internally rotate that right hip. So the right hip's coming down towards the floor, gaze up towards the ceiling, bend through the elbows, chest is forward, engaging that right glute. If you don't engage the glute, you won't get the benefit. So internally rotate the right hip, pushing down. You may be able to come down further onto the elbows. But just as soon as you can feel a release, a stretch in that right hip. That's all good. And then just coming back up the center and bringing the knees together. So this time we're going to take the right foot onto the left knee. So you can keep the left leg quite straight with a slight bend. But when you put the right foot on the left knee, take that right foot away from the body and try and keep this right foot as straight as you can. So rather than pointing through the toes, we want to flex the feet. So we're pushing the right knee away. If you're comfortable here, you may be able to slide that left foot in towards the body, Fingertips facing forward, palms on the floor. Inhale, lift the chest towards that right shin and take the right knee away. And slowly release, and we'll take it to the other side. So the left shin is parallel and comes forward in a cross-leg position. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the fingers forward. Feel the stretch through the left hip this time, aiming to take the left knee further towards the floor. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, releasing, maybe inching the fingers a bit further forward. Take the shoulders away from the ears, gaze towards the fingers. Feel the release through the left hip. Bring the chest in between the shoulder blades. So bringing the chest forward rather than just rounding through the back. Just letting that left hip release. And walking the fingers back towards the midline. The left leg comes out straight, right foot into the inner left thigh. Left fingers come inside that left foot. Inhale, right arm overhead and release over, stretching through the right hand side of the body, stacking the shoulders on top of each other, opening up through the hips, through the right hand side of the body, gazes underneath the arm. Release the right hand. So going back into the 99 position, the left leg is behind this time. So just checking the alignment that everything is at a right angle. You'll be more on the right hip, but that's fine. Walking the arms back, fingertips facing forward, bending through the elbows, lift through the chest and internally rotate through that left hip. So engage the left glute, push through the left glute to push that left hip in towards the mat. Lift the chest. Keep pushing that left hip forward. And release, bring the left foot on top of the right knee this time. Right leg slightly elongated. Pushing the left knee away from the body, flexing through the left toes, fingertips facing forward behind the hips, and maybe sliding that right foot in slightly more, really opening up, just working on taking the left knee away. Shin should be pretty much parallel as much as you can. If this is too much and you've got tight hips, then just walk that straighter leg further away. So holding here, pushing the left knee away. Really opening up through that left outer hip. And release, just crossing over at the ankles and trying to rock over, placing the hands down, and we'll jump the feet back into a plank position. So strong through the core, lower down with control, keep the elbows into the ribs all the way to the floor. Put the tops of the feet onto the floor, shoulders back and away from the ears. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the shoulders, keep the hips and the feet on the floor. Exhale, back down to the floor, untuck the toes, push up through a press up and drive the hips up towards the ceiling. As you take the hips high, straight through the arms, take the shoulders away from the ears, gaze towards the legs, chest towards the thighs, hips aiming towards the floor. If this is way too strong, keep the knees bent. Just keep the hips aiming towards the ceiling, chest towards the thighs. Inhale, look forward towards the hands, bring the right foot in between the hands. Drop the left knee. And we're just going to come up, hands onto that right thigh. So without lunging too deeply, we're just going to keep the knee over the right foot. And we're going to tuck the pelvis under, so you should really feel the stretch through this left hip flexor. So keep tucking under, keep lifting up through the chest, up through the crown of the head. Take the hands overhead. Bring the hands either side of that front foot. Pick up the right foot, come back through kneeling, and we'll come up the other side. So the left foot comes forward, knees in line with the left foot, come up onto that left thigh. Try not to lunge too deeply. We want that 90-degree angle, that knee and the hip. And then we're tucking under with the pelvis, so pushing that right glute, using the right glute to push the right hip forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Keep pushing through that right glute. So hands either side of the front foot, and take the left foot to meet the right through plank. Strong through the arms, shoulders over the hands, push through the back of the heels, and lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, take the chest away, gaze lifts back to the floor, swap the feet, drive the hips back. Downward facing dog. Let the shoulders relax, wrap the triceps under, plant the palms of the hands into the floor, space between the fingers. This time, raise the right foot up towards the ceiling, leading with the heel. Bend the knee in towards the chest. Take the right foot in between the hands. This time we're lunging deep. Hands either side of the front foot. Left foot comes to the inner right foot. Right hand lifts up towards the ceiling. Stacking the shoulders, reaching up through the right fingertips. Take the right hand back down, right foot meets the left. Plank, lower down to the floor. Inhale, cobra, lift the chest, lift the gaze back to the floor, swap the feet, drive the hips back and up. Downward facing dog. This time, the left heel leads towards the ceiling, bring the knee in towards the chest. Left foot comes in between the hands, right knee drops to the floor, lunge down deep. Right hand comes to the inner, left foot this time, left hand lifts towards the ceiling. And keep the knee here, or you can push back, straightening through that rear leg. Left hand comes outside the left foot, back through plank, lower to the floor. Inhale the chest, and the gaze off the floor. Back down, swap the feet, drive the hips back, downward facing dog. This time, right foot comes outside the right hand, drop down onto the left knee. It's going to come forward. And this time, you can see, we're going to lift up the right toes and just take them out away from the body. So the knee and the toes are away from the body as you sink down, releasing through the hips. Just hold here. You can make small movements if that's more comfortable. Just letting that right knee move away. Straighten through that rear leg. Bring the right foot to meet the left, through plank. And we'll go straight to the other side. So left foot comes outside the left hand, right knee drops down. Pick up the left toes, move them out, and sink through the hips. Shoulders are over the hands. Gaze is to the floor, but the neck is in line with the spine. Contact the rear foot, left foot meets the right. Hold here in plank. Lower down to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, back down. Drive the hips up. Downward facing dog. And we just bring the shins to the floor behind the hands, crossing at the shins, sitting back onto the sit bones. And hopefully your hips are feeling a little bit better.